We're going to solve proportions again today. I know you did this with Mrs. Wood, but if you look at the proportions I have ready for you guys, they're a lot harder than the ones you worked on earlier. So if you recall, solving proportions, you need to cross multiply. When you cross multiply, since you have addition and subtraction going on in your problem, you have to distribute. So that -3 has to be distributed to the x minus 1. And we're going to set that equal to what we get when we cross multiply the 5 and the x plus 2. But again, you're going to have to distribute that. So when we distribute, we get -3x plus 1. Remember, watch your signs. -3 times -1 is +1 equals 5x plus 10. Once you do that, these equations are like the ones you've been solving. You just have to really watch your positives and negatives and eventually your order of operations in the beginning so that you get it right. So from here, I would subtract 5x because I like to get my variables on the left side, and those cancel. And that gives me -8x plus 1 equals 10. Then I would move the 1 to the other side by subtracting. I have -8x equals 9. Then I divide by -8. And I get x equals -9/8. When you're writing negatives with fractions, that negative can go with the 9 or the 8. It doesn't matter if it goes with the numerator or the denominator, or it can just go out in front of the fraction. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 looks a little more difficult. You are going to have to simplify each item before you can cross multiply. So just in this top numerator, I have to distribute the negative with the 3. So I'm going to leave the first x. I'm going to take -3 times x and get -3x, and -3 times 1 and get -3. There's the top. On the bottom, I can work in the parentheses first. And 20 divided by 10 is 2. And then again, these parentheses, I'm going to be subtracting 14. So I'm going to stay on the left side and I'm going to continue simplifying. So if I simplify even more, I can take x minus 3x, which is -2x, minus 3, over 8 times 2 is 16, and 16 minus 14 is 2. So I had to do all that work just to get this to look similar to problem number 1. So now let's go back up here and look or work on the right side. On the right side, we can do this division first. 4x divided by 2. You can divide those, but you can only divide the numbers. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then the x just comes along with the answer. So 4x divided by 2 is 2x. Then we're going to distribute this +2. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 1 is 2. On the bottom, we're going to leave the 1/2 out in front, and then we're going to work in the parentheses. Remember, we can do powers or exponents first. So 3 squared is 9, plus 6 over 6 is the same thing as 6 divided by 6, which is 1. So now again, let's combine like terms. So in the numerator, I have 2x plus 2x, which is 4x. The plus 2 just comes along for the ride. And then on the bottom, 9 plus 1 is 10, and half of 10 is 5. So I went ahead and combined those because I'm running out of room. So now we can cross multiply. So we're going to take 5 times -2x minus 3 equals 2 times 4x plus 2. Now, if you guys want to skip writing this step and just go straight to distributing, I'm fine with you writing -10x minus 15 equals 8x plus 4. and leaving out that step above. When you distribute, though, you have to remember you distribute to both terms, and you really have to watch your signs. So now I can start moving things. I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. So I have negative 18x minus 15 equals 4. Then I'm going to want to add 15 to both sides. And I'm going to go just right up here because I'm running out of room. And I have negative 18x equals 19. And I divide both sides by negative 18. And my final answer is x equals 19 over negative 18. That negative, again, can be in the numerator or denominator. So I could have put negative 19 over positive 18. Okay, last but not least, let's look at number 3. Number 3, what I want you to see on this is that we have common denominators. Next thing I want you to see is that you are subtracting fractions. So you kind of have to train your brain to look at different things when you're presented problems like these. So this is a problem where all you're doing is subtracting fractions. First thing you're going to do is distribute this negative. So we have, and I'm going to make a quick adjustment to this problem and put a 2 here, just so it works out a little bit better. Okay, so when I subtract, I'm not going to do anything to the first one. It's going to stay x minus 1 over 2 times x minus 5. Then this is going to become, when you have common denominators, you want to write your next step as one big fraction. So instead of writing a separate fraction, I'm going to write this as negative 2x minus 3. I'm just going to distribute the negative. And I don't have to write my denominator twice because they're common. So common denominators mean you only have to write that denominator one time. So I'm done right there. What I've done is I've taken 2 separate fractions that are being subtracted and I put it into one. I'm not done with the whole problem, so now I need to combine like terms. So I want to combine x minus 2x, which is negative 1x. And then I'm going to combine negative 1 and negative 3, which is negative 4. I am going to go ahead and distribute on bottom, and I get 2x minus 10 equals 1/2. So now I'm ready to cross multiply. Remember, when you cross multiply, you can go ahead and distribute as you go. So you can take 2 times negative x, which is negative 2x, and 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8. Set that equal to 1 times 2x, which is 2x, and 1 times negative 10, which is negative 10. So that's what I was talking about, leaving out that step of showing the setup of the distribution. So now let's finish this problem by solving for x. We're going to subtract 2x from both sides. And we get negative 4x minus 8 equals negative 10. We'd add 8 to both sides and get negative 4x equals negative 2. Please pay attention to your positives and your negatives. Then you divide by negative 4. And we end up with x equals positive 1/2. So it's okay to get fractions for answers. Rewatch any part of the video that you need to and email me with questions.